Hey everybody, it's Lala Black Sheep, and I am here with another review for R&B Divas LA. This is season 1, episode 5, Divas Divided. Now I have a lot that I gotta say about this. I'm gonna try not to go too long. I had to send the kids away, okay, because I am about to go in on Kelly, and I'm gonna try not to be too disrespectful, although I feel she deserves it because I just okay. So we start off with Lil Mo, and her husband Philip, and they're talking about her part in the monologues. I'm looking down from time to time because I have notes about her part in the monologues. Okay, so she is saying that of course she's never done anything like the monologues before, and she loves Fred, but basically he doesn't really have a musical background, and of course her husband, I mean, is her manager, and he does musical directing if I'm not mistaken. So she has her own musical director. She's been going over some of the things, some of her ideas on what she wants to present on her portion of the monologues, and she was saying that she doesn't want it to be like an introduction because everybody already knows who she is. So she wants it to be more of a rebirth, like a celebration of her rebirth. So she wants to start it off with, like a funeral where, we're saying goodbye to the old Mo and we're celebrating the birth of the new Mo. She's more mature and, just she's learned more and she's not as rough around the edges as she used to be, and that's what she wants people to know about her, and, that not really, will remember who the little Mo, the original or the older little Mo was, but she wants everybody to know that this is who she is now. So they were listening to, like one of the tracks that she liked as the background for, the music that she wants to have in monologues, and she was kind of going through it, just freestyling or, saying like something that she wrote, and it was really good. She was going in and just being crazy. I love Mo. She's really funny, and she seems really real and just very comfortable with herself, and it was good. I enjoyed, what she was singing and what she was saying and everything. It was funny because her husband is like, and he was kind of making faces. At first, I thought he was making a faces like, "Ooh, like that's hot," like yeah. But when she was finished, I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry, guys. When she was finished, he was like, "You waving your hand all over the place." He was like, "Your hand stinks. Like, what were you scratching?" And I'm just like, I can't believe he said that. Like, she was like, I was scratching my foot. I'm just like, she was like, it smelled like feet all up in here. And that was just hilarious. It was funny because it's nice to see. Like, I don't know, he kind of gets on my nerves sometimes. I don't feel like he was supportive enough when in last episode when she wanted to move the family out to LA for good, and she was kind of running it by everybody, and I felt like he didn't really have her back, and I didn't really like appreciate how he was kind of leaving her out there with that. But he still seemed to be supportive of her, and they seem to have a nice dynamic. He has what she needs, and it seems like she has what he needs. And obviously, he's not a makeup wearer for TV. Okay, because I know that some of these guys they put the foundation on them. You got to make you look normal. You look great different on TV than you do in person. And he's gonna be looking like he be combing his hair, and it's just his skin is. He's just like, this is me, whatever. So kudos to you for just like, I'm not doing all of that. Don't be putting no powder on my face or nothing. Okay, there you go. That whatever works for you. Okay. So they went through that or whatever, and it was a cute little scene. Then we go to Dawn, and she's going to a fertility clinic to speak to a doctor about the possibility of her having a baby and just how likely it is at this point in her life. I didn't know she was 47, but it makes sense that she is. She's 47 years old, and the doctor telling her, you start out with a certain number of eggs, and the good ones go first. That's just how it is. It sucks to say that, but that's how it works. And to put it in layman's terms, basically the eggs that you have left, they're rotten, like you're older, and your eggs are older, and after a certain point of time, it's very, very unlikely for you to be able to have children on your own. He said it was like less than 1% or something like that. And, and she's like, I don't want to hear that. And, you're telling me my eggs are rotten and I feel healthy on the inside and out. And, and God doesn't make mistakes. And I'm just like, you went to the doctor to find out, what you needed to know and how likely it was. And I know that it's probably not something that you want to hear, but it is what it is. I know that after a certain age, if a woman has a child, like you actually, it's not just you that you put at risk, but you put the child at risk too. Like the risk factors are very high for complications and birth defects and illnesses and just so many things for you and for the baby. And I feel like for me, and I know I don't want to speak on somebody else's experience because, you do whatever you want to do with your body and everything is your choice. But I just feel like it's a little selfish if you know that you're putting your child at, in danger, or you're putting yourself in danger and you really, really just want to have a baby. And that's just, it just seems like a selfish reason to me to do that. But obviously, this is something that she really, really feels strongly about. And, it's her decision to make. The doctor did suggest a donor egg, and she's like, no, because it's not going to look like me, it's not going to act like me, and blah, blah, blah. And, and it'll be my boyfriend's sperm. And after seeing her boyfriend, I don't exactly know how much sperm he has, really. But the truth of the matter is, men can make children way, way beyond women are able to have them. So, that's just one of those things. Sorry, I'm so dry. And the doctor also said, you can adopt, which is what a lot of people are saying. Like, if you want to be a mother, if it means everything in the world for you to be able to give love to a child and nurture and bring them up in this world, you can adopt. There are so many children out here that need homes and need parents and just need someone to love them. And I mean, it's a lot. There are so many children that just need mothers and fathers, one or the other or both. And if you can't have one on your own, why not give, another child an opportunity to have a good life too? But like I said, that's a choice that she has to make, At a certain point in my life, I wasn't really open to adoption. I'm just like, I want to have my children, like I had my first son, when I was fairly young, right out of high school. Like I graduated from high school and got pregnant, you know what I mean? So it was really early, it was before I was ready. But once it happened, I was just like, I want to be a mother. I love this. I love having children. I love all of it. So when it was like, well, would you ever adopt? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I want to have a baby. I want to have babies. But, getting older and going through things and just kind of learning and maturing and understanding how the world is and what people need, I think adoption is just really, really an awesome thing. And if you truly, truly care about being a mother or being a parent and making a difference, and adopting is one of the greatest things that you can do if it's something that you want to do. Don't be bringing no child in your house and then neglecting it or whatever just because. But anyway, I digress once again. But then she was saying, like, whatever, God doesn't make mistakes. And I'm just like, well, Dawn, if you say that God doesn't make mistakes, then maybe this isn't a mistake either. Maybe, it's just not it's just not meant for you to have a child. Like maybe that's it may be hard to swallow. Maybe you are meant to adopt, or maybe you are meant to take another, road or another path to having a child. But whatever. It's not really that interesting for me to spend that much time on it, so sorry about that. So we go to the little studio or theater where the ladies have their rehearsals. All the ladies are there, and they're discussing some things and kind of having a rehearsal. And Fred gets there, he arrives, and this is where it starts. Let's see, Kelly Price. Okay, so Fred shows up. Mo, she's like, okay, let's have a little prayer, to get this all started. So everybody's praying. Everybody's got their head down. And Kelly is just sitting there staring at Fred. Like, you can't even pray. Like, you feel that strongly about this man that you don't know from a can of paint and never really did anything, to you. You're not even going to pray. You're not even going to put your head down. You know, you're just going to be nasty, just staring at him like some psycho stalker. I don't know what her problem is. I kind of think she's attracted to him and, you know, in some way intimidated by him. I don't know if she feels vulnerable because she thinks he's, I don't know. But she got some serious issues that doesn't have anything to do with the monologues, all right? And it's just carrying over. It's overflowing into everything, and it's nasty, okay? But, so she's staring at him, and I'm just sitting there like, what is your problem? Like, you're not even gonna put your head down and pray. That says a lot, okay? And she says that in her confessional or whatever, she's like, this is an opportunity. You know, I'm happy that Fred is here because this is an opportunity for him to kind of stand up to the scrutiny, you know, of all of the ladies or from all the ladies. And I'm like, what scrutiny from the ladies? Like, you the only one that don't like him. You the only one that's got a problem with him. Doing was saying that she don't really know him, but she don't really know anybody, you know, and she just happened to be, you know, I guess she just happened to be her ride that day, you know, so she was just like, well, yeah, well, Kelly this and Kelly that or whatever, you know. Watching this episode, I don't really feel like Dawn is like up Kelly's behind per se. You know, I do see that she is kind of trying to be neutral in a way. So I'm not going to go in on Dawn as much as I did last time because I had a problem with her, you know, backing everything that Kelly said up when it was like, you weren't here either. But, you know, she's talking about scrutiny, and I'm just like, Dawn doesn't know anybody, and that's why she's just like, you know, she's nervous, you know, or she's a little uncomfortable, but she's nervous about everything. Dawn has been nervous from the gate. You know, she was nervous about how to crack the crabs that y'all had at Chante's friggin' birthday party. Okay, that's just her. She's nervous. All right, they need to add a pill to her little regimen that she obviously takes every day to deal with that anxiety, along with whatever else it is that they're treating. Okay, so Fred starts right away from the gate. Like, okay, so ladies, have you guys decided like what you want to do? Are we doing this? Are we going along with, you know, whatever? Like, what is it that you want to do? And see, I want to point out the fact that all of this stuff that Kelly is doing, like Fred, I looked him up, okay, and he's got a nice little resume. All right, he does have NAACP awards. He has done theater. He's done films. He's done a lot. He's well known. Okay, he has something to show for himself. And I'm not going to knock Tori Russell because I don't have anything personally against him or anything like that, but I just feel like Fred seems to be a little more established, you know, and just a little better at doing this job just based on his experience, you know. So for Kelly to even do all that she's doing and also wasting Fred's time, because the man is he's a professional. This is a job for him, and every day that he shows up to rehearsal for you to act like Boo Boo the friggin' fool, you're just wasting his time. You're wasting his time, and whoever's money is supposed to be paying him. And if you want to act like he's not doing anything, so he doesn't deserve a paycheck or he doesn't deserve any type of compensation for his time, then that's incredibly disrespectful. You know what I mean? And I don't see how anybody in the industry will want to work with you knowing that this is what you do to people, Kelly. But anyway, so Kelly, Fred is talking. Fred is asking, you know, what do you guys want to do? You know, where have you gone since the last time we were here? And I had to walk out because, you know, this, I don't know, bag of laundry was acting crazy. You know, and of course the girls trying to talk to him. The girls are like, well, you know, this is what I'm doing and blah blah blah, and I don't know. And we since the last time, da da da. And Kelly's just staring. Kelly's just staring. Kelly's just staring. That's all she does. She just all the time. So Mo is like, well, I've been doing this, that, and that. Everybody's going along. We're having a rehearsal, right? Mo is like, I wrote down all of this stuff. I got all these words. I don't really know what to do with them. I don't know where to start. You know, and she's like, but I don't, you know, Fred is like, well, you could just get up here and talk about it and we could go from there. Mo is like, well, I don't really want to go first. You know what I mean? And Fred's like, well, what's wrong with that? And then Kelly's like, well, that basically puts you in a position of being the director, and we haven't really decided if that's what you're here for. And everybody's like, the heck was that? Like, what? Where did that come from? And don't be piggybacking off of Mo to make it look like she purposely set you up to say that. Like, you're the only person with this issue. You're the only person with a problem, Kelly, and you need to just cut it out. It's not cute. It's not cute. And I'm really trying to hold back right now on what it is that you're doing. Um, and I do also want to say that Fred has been handling this like a true professional and a true gentleman, okay? Because I wouldn't have been able to handle it. I wouldn't have been able to stand up and deal with it and try to stay on track as much as he has. So he's agreeing with her. He's like, you're right. Obviously you haven't decided that this is what, I'm supposed to be doing. So what exactly is it do you think that we need to do? Like, where do you need us to go with this, or how do you want to start so we can figure this out? Because, we're on a schedule apparently. Kelly is acting like none of this was ready, and she wasn't ready to roll this out yet or anything. But everybody keep on talking about 4 weeks and 3 weeks, and we only got a few weeks. And I'm like, well, what date are they talking about? How are they on a schedule? And she's like, I never said that we were going to do anything. I don't understand that part. So, sorry, y'all. So basically, Kelly is saying that she doesn't know Fred, and she doesn't know Fred, so she wants someone else to come in and help her do the things that she has to do. And Chante is just basically like, well, if someone else comes in, then we won't know them either. Like, what difference does it make that you aren't completely familiar with Fred? And mind you, you're not. I'm saying that you're not familiar with Fred because you weren't here the first few times that he was here to get familiar with everybody. Because in the beginning, when this whole thing started, nobody knew who Fred was. Nobody was familiar with him. They had to meet him and get to know him, and that's how they became familiar. But your schedule is full. You got plenty to do. You don't need to do this. You got this and you got that. So you didn't have time to show up and get to know this man. What's going on? Why are you sitting there? Huh? Okay, can you just give me a few minutes? Because I didn't want to say like the wrong thing. And, so, Chante, sorry guys, I'm so sorry about that. Chante basically asked Kelly, like, what are you afraid that Fred is going to do? Like, are you afraid that he's going to, say the wrong thing? Or, like, what are you afraid of, basically, that's making you uncomfortable about Fred? What is it? And everybody's really trying to talk about things, and Fred's trying to chime in, and he's like, well, yeah, you could do this and we could do that, and Claudette is kind of jumping in like, well, yeah, maybe this is the issue, and maybe there will be things that would make us uncomfortable or whatever. And then here come Kelly with this fuck shit. And mind you, I'm sorry, well, everybody is going out, so that was why I'm like, I want to go in on Kelly, and my son just kind of comes in here, my oldest, and just sits down next to me like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch TV while my mom is doing this review. I really gotta find like a different room to do this, but I need the lighting. Okay, so yeah. So then, like, Kelly's like, all right, well, how about this? Now, mind you, everybody is like, this is actually turning into something productive, okay? We're talking about it. Kelly's got reservations. Fred is trying to, recognize them and appease them, and just like, well, what is it that you need so we can do this, so we can get moving? That's fine if you feel some type of way that you have reservations. We can address them, and we can try to find a resolution so that we can all be on the same page and we can all be comfortable enough to share with each other. Okay, Miss Crazy Person? Okay. And then Kelly's just like, well, what about this? And she jumps up, she's looking like friggin' Godzilla. What about if I go back to my very first memory of somebody raping me when my mother went to the hospital to have my little sister? Huh? And she's all in Fred's face like, what are you going to do then? When I'm like, this, da, 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 da. She got her hands all in his face and doing all of that and stuff. And she's like right here on him. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you? And Fred is just standing there like, yeah, well, then that's what you do. Well, then you do that. And it's like, y'all touching noses. Okay, and Kelly, you too damn big to be jumping up in some man's face, acting like that when he didn't even do anything to you. He didn't do anything. There's no reason for you to be confrontational. There's no reason for you to be disrespectful just because you don't feel comfortable with this man for whatever ridiculous reason that you have. You talk, you act like an adult, You act like a professional. You act like you got some darn home training. I don't care if you used to live in a car. I don't care if you were in the projects. There's no excuse for any of that. And I don't understand how you possibly made it as far as you did if you got that nasty ass attitude and you got to be so incredibly disrespectful and just so disgusting. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't condone men putting their hands on women, but I'm sorry, if he would have punched you in your throat, okay, and knocked the wind out of your big ass, I would have completely understood why. You don't get in nobody's face like that for no reason. Now, I may be standing up here and I may be being a professional or whatever and trying to help you with these darn monologues or whatever it is that you're doing. You jump in my face. You don't know what kind of flashbacks I may have, okay? You don't know what type of place you're taking me to. Okay, we talk about you being comfortable and everything because you don't know me. But honey, what about me being comfortable with you being all up in my face? What about that? Okay, because maybe I would have went there and had a dramatic moment. And that dramatic moment would have wound up having you in the ambulance going to the damn hospital because you up in my face. Period. Ain't nobody say that we were rehearsing anything. Ain't nobody say we was going over no scene. All right, so you jump in my face, you got your hands all in my face, and you all close to me and everything. I don't know. Maybe I'll get so into character, whatever that character is, that I just mollywop your ass. How about that? Would that work for a dramatic moment for you? Would my fist be a good prop? I'm sorry, I'm going into the next episode. I'm gonna pull back a little bit, okay? Because we still got some more show to do. So I'm gonna try to calm down a little bit, getting a little worked up. She's being confrontational, and the women are standing around. They're uncomfortable. You know, Mo is like, she's fearing for Fred's life. Chante is just like, why is any of this necessary? Like, Fred didn't do anything to deserve any of this. And Kelly is being ridiculous. Just ridiculous, disgusting, okay? So, Fred is still trying. He's still like, that's fine. Like, you just went there. You just did that. That's good. Like, that's progress. And she's like, well, I took myself there. You know, what can you do? Can you tell me, go there, Kelly? Can you do that? He's like, but you're doing it. And that's great. Like, we're breaking through. We're making we're breaking some ground. And that's great. And it's like, he's still working with her despite the fact that she's being a complete idiot. And then she's just like, I'm still not happy. So she sits down and she's mad because her little scare tactic didn't work. You know, he's not intimidated. He's still trying to work with her. He's still trying to be professional. And you know why, Kelly? Because he is a professional, okay? And he's worked with people that probably were much, much more famous, successful than you could ever be, okay? And he's probably worked with a lot of crazy people too. If he's in this type of industry, honey, there are plenty of people who aren't wrapped too tight, but they are incredibly talented. Some of them aren't wrapped too tight and they ain't talented, but they just happen to find a way to be there. Okay, so I'm sure you're not the first person to walk up on this man acting like you ain't have no sense. All right, and I feel like Fred is beyond commendable for the way he's handling all of this stuff. I'm sorry, because there's no way in the world that I would have been able to handle any of it in such a professional manner. I'm sorry. The man is just beyond mature, and I love him for it. Okay. Now, so Kelly says, you know, she's like, all right, well, this isn't working. You know, let me sit down and stop acting like a retard for a second. Sorry for saying that. That was a little politically incorrect, but Kelly. So she's like, well, what if I bring in my guy? You know, and Dawn's like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, we've gotten this far with this guy that you don't like, but now you talk about bringing somebody else in, and then we got to start over from scratch. Like, that doesn't make any sense. We've already wasted enough time. You know, and Chante is just like, yes, like, basically, because Dawn is saying this in her confessional. Everybody's saying everything in their confessionals, and nobody's really saying anything to Kelly. But Chante is just like, well, Kelly, you're comfortable with your guy, but we don't know him. So now we have more people who are in an uncomfortable position, and that's okay with you as long as you, alone and by yourself, are happy with whoever's here. That's not fair either. You know, and Chante is saying, if it's a problem with comfort and a problem with being able to open up in front of somebody that we aren't familiar with, it's 6 of us. We all know each other. We're all comfortable with each other. Why can't we bring that out of each other? Why can't we help each other get to that place so that we could do something more than this stupidity, so we can get past whatever the heck it is that you're doing in whatever movie you're filming in at this moment that nobody else is aware of. So Kelly's like, no, that's not going to work. It makes perfect sense. That would be the mature thing to do. As an adult who possibly has children, I don't really know that much about Kelly, and I basically don't give a fuck about Kelly, so I'm not really sure if she has kids or whatever. I really don't care. I used to care, but her behavior in the past 5 episodes made me care so very little that I don't even know if she is even in a position to teach someone else how to act out in public. Okay? So she sits there and she starts crying. Everybody's talking. Everybody's trying to get through her issues with her, and she's crying. She didn't get her way. So now we've gone all the way to toddler phase. I'm just going to cry. And she's like, maybe this was a bad idea and all this other stuff. I hate people who act like that. I just really, really do. You're so controlling and so passive aggressive that you just won't let anything happen, okay? And I tweeted last night that basically Kelly has wasted 6 rehearsals. She used 6 rehearsals of completely making sure that no one has gotten anywhere. 6 of them. She's talking about how busy she is and how full her schedule is, but she don't give a fuck about any of the other women who are sitting up there on that stage with her. She's like, oh, if you could do me this favor, I would really appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you, Jesus, all this other stuff. But then when it comes down to it, I don't care about the fact that you got kids. I don't care about the fact that you got stuff to do. I don't care about the fact that you need to be in the studio. I want you to come here, and I want you to sit at this rehearsal in this little theater or whatever and not do anything while I show my ass for however long it is that we're here. Okay, I'm going to hold you up. But I'm out doing all of this other stuff. Meanwhile, I ain't worried about you doing anything. All right, so where am I at? So, oh yeah. And that's the thing. Also, I remembered this too while I was watching that episode. When they were at Broadway in the Hood and they were talking to the young people or the actors, whatever, because they weren't young. A lot of them weren't young. They looked like some grown-ass people, like 30s, and I don't know, maybe even 40s. But when they were talking to people and giving like their words of wisdom about how to, survive in the industry and find longevity, Kelly was like, upstairs, go. Kelly was like, one thing that you need to do is make sure that you have someone with you that will call you on your stuff and tell you that your mess stinks. You know what I mean? Like, because there's always these yes men around you, and you get full of yourself. Like, don't you know who I am? And don't you know what I do? And you always have to have somebody there to keep you grounded. And I just cannot believe that the main person who says this to the people at Broadway in the Hood would be the main person walking around acting like she's God. Like, well, where is your person, Kelly? Like, maybe they need to be here with you right now, because you're violating that very thing that you mentioned to those people about staying grounded, about remembering who you are and where you came from. You walking around here acting like you friggin', I don't know, Mariah Carey or even Beyonce. And I hate to mention those women because they are very talented, they are very successful. There's definitely divas. They're at a certain level, and I don't think that even they should be justified to behave like that, but at least they're at a level of fame that people would expect that from them. You know what I mean? Kelly, I really haven't seen anything from you lately. Maybe I'm not looking in the right places. I don't know. I don't live in an area where you have your open mics and stuff like that, and you seem to be doing a whole bunch of recording and a bunch of shows and then all these studios. But honey, I don't know anything about it, really. Like, I hadn't heard from you until they said that this R&B Divas LA thing was coming and that you would be on it. And I was just like, oh yeah, Kelly Price. Like, man, I really liked her. I wonder how she was doing. Okay? Alright, so we go to Dawn and Mo. They're at Mo's house. She got her kids running around. Dawn holding a child, like, I don't know what was going. She's about to drop the baby while she was talking. I'm just like, no, what somebody grabbed it? I don't know what she's saying, because I'm worried about the child. Is he on his head on the table, What's happening there? Put the baby down, Dawn. We know you want a child. We know, it's okay. You don't gotta show it to us. Just put him down slowly. Okay, watch his head. Thank you, baby. Whew. And you're talking about the rehearsal or the non-rehearsal. It should be not the rehearsal for the monologues, not your mamas. They not doing nothing. There's no rehearsing going on. Don't even call it rehearsals. Just call it, meetups or Fred bashing sessions. But ain't no rehearsing happening. Unless you're rehearsing to whoop Fred's ass at some point, because that's the only rehearsing that's getting done. As there's no time, that's always been reiterated over and over again. They don't have any time. It's only a few weeks left. And even Claudette was like, I thought people usually have like a year to prepare for these things, and we only got like 3 weeks. That's crazy. I don't understand how you would expect anybody to do that. And Kelly, you talked about the development, and this is your baby, and you're directing it, and all this other stuff, or you're producing it. Don't bring something to a group of people until you have it developed. Don't bring an idea to a group of people and talk about, I really want to get this done. I think this would be amazing, and not have anything prepared for it. Nothing. You didn't have anything but the group of women that you wanted to be a part of it. And I honestly feel like you just happened to see them all in the same place at one point. It was like, yeah, I'm going to ask them. But it doesn't seem like you put any thought into this at all. At all. So, yeah, Kelly stopping everything. Dawn is basically saying that she doesn't know why it's like this. And Kelly was crying, and she feels like she's losing control of everything. And this is, yeah, we get it. We get it. But you don't got to act like a dickhead. I'm sorry. You don't have to act like that just because it's your baby and it's your show. Nobody's trying to take anything from you. People are just trying to get things moving, because up until now, you were nowhere to be found when it was time to do anything. And nobody has time to just sit around and wait for you to have a toilet break so that you can go work on this whole thing that may be the main thing that these women are working on. Main thing that these women are dependent on in order to make a living for their families and get their career back on track. Okay, like, you gotta really stop just thinking about yourself and being so self-involved and self-absorbed and self-everything, and think about the fact that you asked these women to help you, and you need to be aware of how this is impacting them. Okay, because if you didn't need them, then you could have just did Kelly's monologues, and that's it. And you could have stood up there and did your little singing and your little talking and your jiggling and whatever, and your Michelin Man imitations or whatever on your own. And they wouldn't have had to have anything to do with it. They could have just been doing their own thing. Okay, since you're so great, all right, I am too great for this. And I did not get here because of anybody in this room. Okay, and see how I'm doing this? I'm making eye contact when I'm talking about somebody to somebody or whatever. Okay, all that passive aggressive bullshit where you just like, I'm so big and bad and I'm whoop your behind, but you looking at the floor. I ain't on the floor. I'm right here. Okay, you want to talk about how you want to see me? You got a problem with me? I'm taking over stuff. You don't like the way I'm doing stuff? You talk to me to my face. You look me in my eyes. You can't look me in my eyes because you a punk. That's it. You're scared. You want to sit up here on camera and act like you're so tough and everything. Talk about, I got my Timberlands and my Vaseline and a straight edge, and then you looking down on the ground. Or talk about it's just a prop, or you getting in somebody's face or whatever, because you know that he's not going to hit you because he's a man, and you're in a room filled with a bunch of other witnesses. And then you talk about something, it was just a dramatic moment. Okay, but if he would have bust you in your face, it would have been real different from a dramatic moment. All right. I don't like that. If you're going to be big and bad, then be big and bad. Okay? Don't call people out and don't attack people and then try to hide behind all these weak excuses or not look at that person so you could be like, I wasn't talking to anybody in particular. I was just saying. Like, who does that? All of that bark with no bite, like, for real. I really, really believe that you think that just because you as big as a friggin' house that people were afraid of you. Like, yeah, you may sit on Chante and be able to smother her, but I'm trying to tell you, she looks like she could do a little something. Real talk. She does. And I think you know that. I think you know that, Kelly. So you need to calm your nerves. Oh, God, where was I at? See, I'm making it run on because I'm so irritated with this woman. I'm irritated with her. Yeah, okay, so then we get to more crap, more crap. All right, they're at another rehearsal, but the only women that are there is uh, Kelly, Mo, and Chante. You know, everybody else had some emergencies. I think Dawn and Claudette had emergencies, and Michelle, I knew that was going to happen, and Michelle just wasn't there. Okay. And Michelle just wasn't there. She just didn't show up. So, you know, Fred is there. Ouch, oops, sorry. Fred shows up, and, Mo and Chante are sitting up on the stage, but Kelly, she's sitting, you know, in the seats in the audience, you know, taking care of some stuff for her back. So Fred's like, you know, hey, ladies, if you guys can come up on stage so we can, you know, discuss some things. And here we go with Kelly again. She's like, and Fred's like, hey, you know, can you come up here? Well, all the ladies aren't here, and yeah, Fred's like, yes, you know, Claudette had an emergency, and I wasn't aware of that, but I know Dawn had an emergency. Like, why can't you just come up here? So she's just like, she says in her confessional, I'm sorry, y'all, my back is hurting. I haven't taken any Motrin today. I'm trying to help myself because I got this ulcer, and I got to be careful with it. So sometimes I just got to deal with back pain. I think getting all hype and everything and wanting to bust Kelly in her face is kind of aggravating things. So she's like, she in her confessional, she's like, she had a problem with the fact that the women aren't all there, and that's been a problem with everybody not being at the rehearsals. And I'm like, didn't you miss like the first three or something like that, the first two or the first three rehearsals? So how are you going to sit there talking about it's been a problem that everybody hadn't been there, when up until now everybody was always there but you? But now it's a problem because you got something to say. Okay, the great queen, you know, Kelly Beans and Rice or whatever has to say something, so everybody need to be there so she can speak to her subjects, you know, Chachi. So she's like, you know, Fred, can you excuse, you know, would you excuse us, please? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And she's like, no, I need you to leave. And he's like, oh, you want me to leave the room? Like, why do I have to leave the room? Like, and I'm thinking the same thing too. Like, he just got there, and why is it that this man got to keep on walking out every 5 seconds every time he comes? Like, she's so rude. Every time he starts talking, she starts cutting him off, and then she's just like belligerent and confrontational and disrespectful and berating, and she talks down to him like he's nobody. But then she got the nerve to sit there talking about she's not going to have him talk to her like she works for him. Like, what are you talking about? What do you think a director does? He directs, okay? He directs. He tells you how to do what it is that you need to do. He gives direction. It does not mean that you are working for him. He is directing you. Because if you could direct yourself, you would not need a director. Really? I'm not going to have him talking to me like I work for him, because I don't. And that was when she gave that whole, like, I am too great for that. How great are you? Because I don't know what you're doing, honey. Like, I don't know where you've been. I don't know. What are you great at? Eating Krispy Kreme donuts? I don't understand. She was disrespectful to Fred again, okay? He's been trying. He left. He's professional. He's mature. He's respectful. He left, okay? So then she basically uses that time to confront the women. And she's just like, they can't get anywhere, you know, because of all of the bickering. And I'm like, bickering? What bickering? Like, you're the one who keeps starting fights with Fred. And all the women are doing is saying, well, what do you want us to do? Like, what's going on? What do you need from us? And you're the one who's acting like a crazy person and preventing any type of progression or anything. I'm going to have to speed this up because we got to get going. Mo, stop saying amicably. Cut it out. I feel some type of way about the fact that after all of that, you pick a fight with Chante, who apparently is supposed to be your friend. She's supposed to be your real, true friend from the beginning, and you pick a fight with her because she's the only person who is doing that thing that you said that everyone needs to do in order to remain successful and get somewhere. She's the one that's calling you on your crap and telling you that your ish stinks. Okay? And you don't like that. So instead of saying, you know what, you're right, maybe I'm handling this the wrong way, I do want to have a little more control over how things go because this is a very important thing to me. And I don't want to wind up losing control of how it goes because I have an idea and I have a vision of what it's supposed to be. Instead, you call people out and you challenge them and act like you really want to throw down and you want to fight them. Okay? And then I really feel like you just sat there and studied the first 2 seasons of R&B Divas Atlanta because you got like Nikki Gilbert 101 down. To pick a fight with Chante, and then, excuse the background noise, guys, I'm almost finished. To pick a fight with Chante, and then when she responds to you and she's not responding to you aggressively like you're talking to her and you're addressing her, you say that she's being confrontational, and you say that she's being combative, and she's not. She's responding to you being aggressive and being confrontational, and she's still trying to keep it classy, but you don't know anything about keeping it classy. Okay, so you're going to try to turn it around on her and make everybody think that she's the bad guy, but she's not. And everybody can see that it's you. Okay, you're ignorant, you're disrespectful, you clearly don't know how to address people, you don't know how to show respect, you don't know how to have any type of class in a certain situation, and it's disgusting. And I really, really liked you as a singer. I sang all your music. I tried to cover every song that you did. I loved your voice. I really looked up to you. And I swear, if I could find any of the old CDs that I ever purchased from you, I wouldn't burn them things. I would chew on them in tribute to your fat, nasty, gutter butt, hamburger eating, bobblehead, bad body, ignorant, toddler acting, trifling, disgusting behind. I don't like you, Kelly Price. You're just ridiculous. I'm not even embarrassed for you. I'm just like, anything that comes to you as a result of you behaving this way on the show, you deserve it. You do. You deserve it. And when you said that whole thing about Chante doing this on her own and let her know where you could buy a ticket, honey, she would sell so many more tickets to tell her story than you would. I don't care about what you did. I don't care about where you've been. I don't care about your story or anything like that. I would buy 100 tickets to see Chante do everything before I would even buy a ticket to see you make yourself disappear, honey. So don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Because all you've done is given Chante all of your supporters. That's all you did. Anybody who liked you, they couldn't possibly in their right mind want anything for you anymore because you're a nasty, nasty person. And let me see. I don't understand why Mo met up with Philip separately. I feel like that just kind of, instigates, or I felt like it was a little messy. I did. So to have him ask Fred, if he wants to be the musical director, to have Fred ask Philip if he wants to be musical director, it's like, you see how Kelly is acting already. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go, oh, now Fly got in with the door. I wouldn't go and try to have more meetings and have things happen like while things are happening the way they have. And then Kelly calls Tori now after six rehearsals of being completely unproductive and stopping everything and causing fights and being disrespectful and all that other stuff and confrontational. She finally calls Tori, even though she told everybody that she already had a person and a team ready. She just called him and told him what she needed to do. They show up at rehearsal. He's being aggressive. He was obviously coached on the way there, but she didn't train her monkey well enough, because when everybody called him on his stuff and when Fred broke it down and was like, you're not doing it the right way, this is how it needs to be done, because I'm a true professional and I know how to do this job, okay? Because I've done more than just Broadway on the hood in the back of somebody's yard or whatever. I've done theater. I've won awards. I've done film. Then Tori was just like, yeah, I would love to work with you. Okay, so you need to try to find a new bag of tricks, Kelly, because that didn't work very well. And I don't have anything against Tori. I feel like you brought him in, and he's going to have haters because he's associated with you, but you're disgusting, okay? And I support Chante 100%. I do. Mo, stop saying amicably. It's amicably. Amicably. Not amicably. Don't say it anymore. I love you. Stop saying that word. All right, I love you guys. I hope you like the review. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. Sorry for the noise and all the craziness and stuff. We have things to do. We got places to go. I got to take my baby to work. And like it. If you have any comments, I love to discuss it with you guys. Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.